Alright, hey, welcome back to the Sloppy Modeler. Welcome back to the Millennium Falcon, the Levitating Bandai 1/44 scale kit. This is build log number 1, and we're going into primarily starting with the base, trying to get it lined up to make it look like the Tatooine ancestral home of Luke Skywalker with Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. So we are working on putting together the hut, putting together the underneath subterranean area, and of course the little farm. Now, when Rey gets there at the end of Rise of Skywalker, it is covered in sand and everything is pretty well buried. I'm taking a compromise between that and the look when you first see it in A New Hope, when they show up with the Jawas. So if you want to review those two areas, that's very cool. But for the most part, this is the start of that journey. The base you'll see here in a second is going to be, I think it's going to be very cool. I'm super excited about it, and hopefully it will come to fruition. So we've got some aftermarket parts for the base. We've got some stuff that I just pulled together out of the blue, and when it comes together, it'll come together. So stick with us. Enjoy build log number 1 of the Millennium Falcon Levitating Edition. We'll see you in a minute. Thanks. All right, hey, welcome back to the Sloppy Modeler. Welcome back to the channel. And if it's your first time here, we're really happy to have you along. This is the update build log number 1 for the floating Millennium Falcon from Bandai, the 1/44 scale kit from the Rise of Skywalker. And I think you've seen from the introduction that we've got our electromagnet underneath the front here, or underneath the main core. And just working on the base, and it's unusual to work on the base. I haven't even touched the model yet. But working on the base to get this up and rolling, if you will, to see if we can't make this happen. So I have done a few things as a start, and I think I'm going to be happy with where this could end up. So the first thing is this reference document right here, and essentially what you've got under this is the the main adobe hut looking thing here, which I think is the entrance that goes down and goes over to this big giant hole in the ground. And then you've got what I would call the garage, where Luke works on R2-D2 and C-3PO. And then you've got the evaporator here and a couple of little tiny droids in the area. A little bit of stuff laying around here, and then it's just, it's of course sand. So I'm going to try to replicate this with the thought of the Millennium Falcon kind of floating like right through here somewhere, and it's going to be a little bit off basically what we're looking at. But that is the overall picture of what I'm trying to get to. So with that in mind, for the farm piece here, I did take and find a 33-foot tall corrugated grain bin, and all I did is I've taken the top, just the top level of that, and I'm cutting that out little by little here. That's right, so it'll have that look of these openings. Just again approximating it. It's the, you know, I'm not going to go to much more length than that, but that is for the farm itself. So kind of excited about that. For the adobe hut, again, I mentioned we had an egg carton holder that goes into a refrigerator, and what I did is just drilled through it and took 1/2-inch acrylic rod. You can see that acrylic rod right here that I went through and created kind of this look here on the sides and the top, and then just balsa wood underneath there. The next step, and this is just going to be a painted entrance, I'm just going to paint that black to simulate it. I'm not going to drill it out or anything like that. The next step for that would be to cover this with a toilet paper and Elmer's glue type texturing to go over that whole thing, and then go to paint and so forth. And I really like the fact that it's already beat up. So pretty excited about that, and that'll go somewhere in the name or vicinity of that area. Then I also found these little buttons that I basically just glued in to give us the representation of that area somewhat, and that's cool. I did order off of Shapeways 2 aftermarket pieces for this. This is a Star Wars crate, and also another little crate here that you can see, and I'll paint these up white, and then a final third crate here that should be pretty cool. So that is going to be kind of put into an arena here. I do have some more wood filler that I'm going to build up a berm, a rectangular sort of berm around here, and then I'll stack these against there, kind of like that. And then I did purchase also from Shapeways one of the evaporators, and I already broke one of the pieces off, but it's been reglued, but that's giving us our aged look anyways. So one of the evaporators, and that'll go somewhere. I think I'm just going to put that in the background, like maybe over the switch area here, and that's got some more. I've got some more pieces to glue to that. And then it came with the plug-in droids here, which again are represented by that piece right there. So I've got 2 of those to put in here, and I think I'm going to put those somewhere near the front and see how that goes. So those are the aftermarket parts for the base that I've got. And then once I've got that berm put in and that dries up, sanding all of this, then the base I need to overlay it with sand and ballast, and that will come next. But that worked really nice for this wood filler to go into here, and I think that with the final piece there, that's gonna do it for me. I then have decided I'm going to Elmer's glue, or actually using scenic cement here, scenic cement. I'm going to try to get a sand covering over the whole thing. That's going to be quite messy, but we'll see if we can get to that. This already looks pretty cool, this wood filler with the light tan that came through there, and I may coat. What I may do is just coat that piece there with. I may coat the hut with wood filler, now that I'm looking at it. Just maybe brush it on, thin it and brush it on. Not sure, we're working through that. So that is kind of the progress here at the moment for the update of the Millennium Falcon base, the levitating base for this. And one of the things I did do with that, I don't know if it'll show up, but I went ahead and sanded all of the ridges off of that so that it's much flatter. This is a lot flatter, but I think I'm fine with the approximation of how that's going to look, and it's appropriate for farm and farm side. But one of the next steps is that I have these acrylic pieces that go in for going over the top of the LEDs that are there. And one of the things I want to do is taking these ultra fine fingernail files. You can actually, this is like polishing with a 1 or 2,000 grit sandpaper, because it doesn't mar it. It actually brings up the polish on acrylic very quickly, very easily. And the goal would be to polish these up and just have a pass-through on the light. Now, I may decide to frost that top section once I see how this comes together. It may not have enough refractive capability and diffusing capability to make that look as nice as I want it to have blue light at the tips. So I'm going to polish one of these up and turn it on and see how that will look. Once that's polished up to my, I mean, you can already see how quickly that polishes. Just so nice. But once this is polished up, probably an easier way to do this is just to run it across like that. Once that's polished up, I'll test it, and if it doesn't produce enough light, I will go back to diffusing it, and I'll run over it with like a high grit sandpaper. But I'm already just kind of thrilled with the way that that's polishing up. And regardless of this project, if you're doing canopies or if you're doing anything that's got a high polish acrylic, these files are the way to go. They are it's a metal file. Got it on Amazon, and it's for fingernails, and they're glass. And as a result, because they're for polishing fingernails, they do a really nice job with acrylics. And just like that, I am pretty happy with the way that looks. Reinsert, and off we go. So, all right, so this is the beginning of build update number 1. Again, welcome to the channel. If anything you see here is of value to you, I would appreciate a like, a subscribe. We're pushing towards 825 or so subscribers, heading to 1,000. Really would like to see that 1,000 come up here soon, and we will continue to see what we can do with the Millennium Falcon levitating spaceship. So for now, I will be back with you after a bit, but we're going to make some more progress on this, and we'll see you in a minute. Thanks. All right, here, just a little quick update on the Millennium Falcon, the levitating Millennium Falcon, and we're not sure if we're going to get there or not, but we think we are. So what I've done is taken my ultra tiny drill bit here and drilled through the front of this part on the face of the mandible, and then drilled on through, and then drilled through this piece here for my wiring chase, and then all of this kind of fits like so. Big key is I don't want to cut that off, and then that all closes in like so. And then I actually drilled one more set of chases that go through here. And that is my smallest SMD. It's like a .0402, just solid white, and it comes with these almost 32 gauge wires, I think it is. So they are certainly delicate and tiny. Okay, and that feeds into the front there. So with that, I just want to test that real quick. Right back, give me 1 second here. Sorry about that, folks. All right, so that is so tiny that I've got a 39 ohm. This is a 4.5 volt feed, and that's a 39 ohm resistor on there, and plug it in. Okay, nothing yet. All right. Oh, there we go. We have a headlight, and that is pretty much in scale. Very happy with that. Very happy with that look. So now it's just a matter of a couple of things. One, I want to tighten this up. Okay. And that is pushed on in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to take just a little bit of glue here. This is microcrystal clear. I'm just going to put a drop. Over that. And then from there we can insert our pieces here. Now this was painted with sequin black from Folk Art and then matte steel on the outside. So that's going to give me that look that I'm hoping for inside of this. And we'll put that down in. And then finally we've got the cover piece for that, which goes on something like so. Alright, so that glue is gonna dry. This I think looks really nice going down into the depths there, and we'll weather all this later. This has been painted with Martha Stewart's Wedding Cake over gray primer, over Stynylrez gray primer. And I like that color. I like the variants. I think that's going to be really, I'm really happy with that. Here's one that's already glued, and again, there's no resistors. We'll do the resistors on the inside, but we'll let this glue set up and make sure all of this goes together. And very happy with the mandibles, so we'll work from there. All right, I'll be back. Thanks. All right, hey, sorry for the furnace in the background, but we need to move this forward, or I need to, because this is the last piece to do on the base. So, first of all, I'd like to welcome you back. I know it's been a long time coming, but this has quite honestly held me up for quite a bit, and I just want to get this moving forward and done. So what I've already done several months ago is this brown ballast from Woodland Scenics on top of our electromagnet here, and then I've kind of built in a base here where the underground dwelling would be. Here's the entrance, and then here is like the workshop at that point. So essentially what I want to do now is get ready to glue those down, but the first thing I want to do is get this ready to glue in. And what I've got here is the the Scenic Glue S190 clear matte finish, flexible, water soluble, and non-toxic. And so basically I just want to go over this as quickly as I can. And I just want to lay down a base for the light sand color, which is next. So this is going to be fine buff is the next shot of it. And I just want to give this something to hold to. See, I'm going to use a bunch more glue. So what I've got here is my switch, and I've got these 4 lights right here. Kind of, I want to be careful not to get a lot of sand on those. Just don't want to obscure them that much. work a little bit quickly here. And since this is white glue, it's just going to be, it'll be matte finish or clear finish when this is all said and done. And then I do have the Scenic Cement spray-on or brush adhesive, and that is kind of, I'm going to put a layer of that on quickly. In essence, this is the kind of hopefully the final coat of this. So then we can put the sand on. And I must confess my ignorance. This is the first time I've done any kind of sand, or I guess this would be like railroad style layout stuff. That's where I got all of this glues and materials and ballast. And again, just trying to lay out the farmstead at Tatooine, where Rey returns to bury the lightsabers at the end of the Rise of Skywalker. And I wanted this darker brown as kind of a base, because Tatooine is not just sand, even though that's what Anakin says he hates. It gets everywhere apparently. So regardless, we're going to put on top of this a lighter coat of the buff color versus the darker that we've been using up to this date, and this will be the final piece of that. And then, as I mentioned, I do have some accoutrements in the back room. Okay, good enough. Let's fill that up. And I've already filled my up my little spray bottle here. Glue, and now I just need to open this up. I'll be right back. Alright, and then I'll put the remainder of this in a baggie, because it's not a self-closing Ziploc. If you're listening, Woodland, maybe that's something you might want to consider for future packaging. So we've still want some of the brown tonals to come through. On this, just trying to keep a lot of this in the same spot. This is just a strainer that I found at the local grocery store. It's a sifter, and this seems to be really working nice for this. Right there. Yeah, I like that. Clean that up. Nice. And then one more coat of the spray on. This is a matte. It's supposed to be a matte finish so you won't have gloss under that glue. And then what I wanted to do is just take my tight bond here. Let that do its thing. Same thing here, tight bond. And we'll let that sit. Maybe just a little bit of okay, excellent. All right, I am making a mess. Super thrilled with this. This is pretty much the base done. I do want to clean up a little bit of that. Clean these up just a little bit. These are actually utilizing the lights that are in the electromagnet, and they light up blue. It's actually kind of cool, and that's where I intend to have the Millennium Falcon kind of spinning in line. Yeah, all right. Okay, that is getting the base done. So I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll put the final accoutrements on a later date. But really enjoying the look, and we will see what that comes up to when we're all said and done. All right, I will be back with you shortly. Thanks. All right, hey, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the Sloppy Modeler. And it is time to do a bit of catch-up for everybody. You last saw working on the base where we were able to bring that final coat of sand over the entire base. I've got some more touch-up paints and things like that to do on it, but very happy so far with where we're at on that piece. So, some of the other pieces that are going to go onto the base. This is the evaporator from Shapeways, and very fragile. Be very careful with that, unlike what I'm just doing right there. Here are some general just crates and smaller pieces for that. Missing one of those. It's not to be expected, or not unexpected. Okay, so those will go on to the base. There's another one of those somewhere, I'm not sure where, but that will finish out the base. The next step is we went through and we added the parts. For instance, on the side, the facing here, this side, we added those parts. We also added the parts. This is going to be in flight configuration, so was able to add, just close up the landing gear stuff. I didn't build any landing gear into it. Gave that a nice coat, a coat of black, and then 2 coats of black, and then a coat of this white, just like a duplicate color, just a cheap white in there. From there, we went and used this Martha Stewart's wedding cake white, and I really like it. It goes on smooth, and it really is a nice touch right there. So that is going on to that's gone on to the pieces that you see here for the most part. The top, I still have to add my photo etch parts to the engine. These are done as far as the pieces that go into, like say for instance here, that would go, it looks like this one goes into here and just kind of fits in once you're up and running, and I'm really pleased with that. That is a combination right there of the sequined black from Folk Art and then the matte steel gray, and I like that darker gray in there. Of course, this will all be weathered at some stage, but just working on the initial paints on that. So those pieces are done, along with the pieces here that are also completed. And you know, these will look something like this when they go in, kind of the same color scheme. The sequined black with the sequined black with the steel color coat there. And that's going to be a little tighter than the other ones were, if I even have it in the right spot, which I probably don't. Maybe that goes in from the top. Well, you get the idea. So that again is that gray, fits in there. I wonder, anyway. So that is painted up. The mandibles are painted up, and I've shown you those before. Those will go in place as well. In addition to the mandibles, you've got the engine pod, or the gunner's pods, and those go in something to the tune of this right here. And you guys know the drill. And that gets this interior here. I've also prepared for the engine in the back. So that was spray painted this white as well. And that will fit in something like this at some stage, where that goes in the back. Very happy with the way that that lights up, and it is going to look really nice. I need to dirty that up to see. That's really bright light. Now for the lighting and electronics. The top is not going to get any lighting in it at all, so we'll put that to the side for right now. We can work on that later. The bottom is going to have all of the lighting, and essentially what I've got ready to go here from a lighting perspective is that across here, these are the 4, and again this is the bottom, so these would be like landing lights. Across here there are 4 red lights, and I'm going to put those in, and they are pretty, they're going to be pretty diffuse. I'm going to have like just 1K resistors on, just a hint of red that's there. Then you have these 2 white lights which are on each side. So you've got a white light here, 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 and here, and that is going to be just for like landing lights turned on when they're there. Then you have these 4 pretty sizable lights here that go in, and those are going to be white and they're lit up according to the stage. And then I've got room for, this is the port side, I'm going to put 2 red lights on each side there and put a blinker on it. I know it's not Canon, don't care. And then 2 green lights here, again with the blinker circuit on that, and that will fire up. Also on the back is a white light here, a white light here, and then a white light here and here. Very, very tiny, very, very small, and the differences on some of those are going to be something like using, most of these are going to be using the little SMD that have to have a resistor wired in. So you can see absolutely how tiny that is, very, very tiny, but that'll fit in there and that will work, which is going to bring me to the electronics on this. So there is a space here from Bandai that if you buy the Bandai lighting kit, you can put it in here. I'm going to make my own. And I originally was thinking of using one of these 18650 cells, which has like 9,000 milliamps according to the paperwork. I don't believe it. Probably closer to maybe 4,000 at most. But that is just kind of too big and bulky to fit in there. This has been wired with a USB-C chip, and then you've got voltage out. So that is kind of the principle. So what I did find are these, they're just like remote control toy batteries. This is 3.7 volts, 1800 milliamps, 6.7 watt hours at that point. So a nice size battery. And the nice thing is, after chipping away some of this, that will actually fit. That'll actually fit right down into here, and I can still get all of my stuff around it and then get to these cables, get to the power. Now, as far as lighting the model with that, there are going to be two aspects of this. One is the charge, how to charge this, and that's where this module comes in. This is a USB-C charging module, same thing I used over there. It's got voltage in for the USB, and then it's got the same amount of voltage out. So it doesn't step it up or anything, it's just 3.7 volts out. That's enough to run all of these lights that are this size with just really light resistors on them, with like 39K, 89K resistors. I'm sorry, 39 ohm, 89 ohm resistors, just very light, just enough to just keep them balanced. And then, so that can come directly off of this. I'm also going to feed this chip here, which is a another chip off of eBay, and basically this is a voltage stepper, and you step it up by changing that little screw right there, and I think it goes up to 12 volts. But all I need to do is step this from 3.7 up to 6 volt, or just a touch above, maybe 5.5. Because I do have one piece here of cob lighting, and this is blue cob lighting. And so the case with the blue cob lighting, and I'm not even sure if I can do this real quickly or not, but with the blue cob lighting, you can essentially have 5 volts going to it, and this is just 4.5 here. So that's cob lighting right there. That's pretty decent from my perspective. And basically I had to trim down both sides of that in order to get it to fit in there. But once you have it in, I think you can see that that is going to be just an amazing look. It doesn't need to be diffused more. It's just going to look like the Millennium Falcon in flight. So very excited about that. But that needs about 5.5 volts to really light up at the right light. But we'll get that wired in. So those three components, the battery, the USB-C charger, and I'll probably just put that in like that. Well, no, I won't. I need to find a place, and I think I saw there's a spot on here with very little, yeah, right on this side here. I think though that may be where no, that might be the place. So I might just put that in there, grind all that out, and use it so you could plug that in right through the side and then secure it down. We'll get to that. Not sure how we're going to get there yet, but we'll get to that. But those are the components of the electrical system. Still working on the interior, working on the cockpit. This is the cockpit photo etch piece, and the next step I have to do there is that's for the next segment, is I have to paint in that padding around the wall, or around the door, and paint the door, and that's going to take some real fine work. And then that simply just slides onto the back of this here. I've got the cockpit combing pit canopy frame drying in the other room. But that'll be the interior. Here's some more stickers for the interior that'll go on. And then we'll have to run the lighting into this piece here. This is going to get a sticker from right here. This will go in something like that. Probably like this over the top. And then squeeze on down. So you get the point. And then I'll have one light shining forward. I'll have one light shining forward like so from the back, and then that just plugs right into the top here, and there's room to come down through that center into that piece. So that is coming along nicely. And then the final piece is the actual electromagnet placement in here. And I've worked on this a little bit, and I'm going to have to fine tune it, but I think this is going to go right here. It's just a little bit forward of the center line, but you do have the mandibles that stick out here like so, and you do have the battery pack that's going to sit back here like so. And as a result of that, I think that that's about the center of gravity, side to side, front to back, to where this will appear to hover flat. So I have to glue that in, but it means losing one of the gun cockpits, but it's from the bottom. You're never going to see it anyways, so I just need to put this in here with its glass. Here's what that part looks like off of the vacuum formed cockpit glass. So I was able to grab that. I like that. That looks nice. That's been taped up here, and just use a scissors to cut that when you're doing that. So that actually fits in really nice into the back of one of these. And we'll come back to that later. And then I do think I'm going to put one piece of ambient lighting in behind it on the top one, so you can see from the back. So what I'll do there is I've already drilled two tiny little holes here for white light that'll be at the bottom of the bench, so that will light up some of the stuff. And then some of these stickers indeed go into that gunnery cockpit. So anyway, we are having a ball with this. This has been a project, and we are making some certain progress. Now I have to say, why did I delay so long in producing film? So two items. First is that I took the summer off for bicycling. I bicycled almost 4,000 miles this summer, from March to here to late November. So very excited about that. But probably more importantly, and with my reluctance, was the fact that I got in the habit of looking at too many other builds by these super builders on YouTube, on Facebook, and they build these incredible pieces of modeling. And ultimately, I just have to say that it caused me some paralysis of not having anything to offer on this. And I had to put my mind back around. It's like, you know what, I'm not building it for them, I'm building it for me, to try out new things that I've never done and go back for it. So I do apologize, but I am back. We're going to produce now through the winter. We'll do this project, and I've got some cool kits that we're going to do throughout the rest of the winter. So you can see one of the things, like here's a tiny little Duracell battery. It's just nothing more than a 2016, and you put it up behind that cockpit and it's the same size, which is just crazy to me. So I think that catches us up, and I will produce more of this stuff as we go along, and we'll see if we can't get this thing floating here in short order. And then we'll finish up the paint and weathering and the assemblies. We've got a lot of work to go there, but very pleased now with a lot of the process. So again, we appreciate your patience. We definitely, certainly appreciate your subscriptions, your shares, your comments, your likes. I'm back for the duration here, and we're going to move some models ahead. And we will see you in the next build update as we bring this one to a close. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.